Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to be getting into the action pretty quickly. Of course, the EU MDL second game of the evening. Our final game of the evening, unfortunately not a super long broadcast, but hopefully this game will be a bit more competitive. We've got Avangar up against Havu on a home map for both of these teams, Inferno, where it was 16-4 on the previous one in favor of Illuminar on what was a close map statistically for those two teams. I think we've got two very stable rosters here. Obviously, Havu finding or kind of refinding this great amount of success that they had, I'd say towards the end of 2017 almost. I think it was Csgo as well used to play for them. Obviously now of Ent's fame. Meanwhile, Avangar runners-up at the major. Need I say more? They've got a lot to show, a lot of expectations on them in this matchup, and so far it's not starting off well, but Jame, the Jame factor, it's in again. He finds a quick 2k. Sanji going to come in from behind, and it was looking good. It was looking good. Maybe they can recover it back and make it look good once again. Low HP actually for Jame in on the site itself. So that is certainly a bit worrisome. Kicker still alive, still around, rotated to the A site, but no armor. Does need to be very careful. Seeing this creep in a bit more onto the CT side, particularly of Inferno, where you go for a smoke, a flash, and a nade, which I think he's done. The maths is like, yeah. No. What has he bought here? I'm confused. Did he get another flash alongside this? I think he got another flash alongside this. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So no nade. Not really going to be needed. He was over on B anyway. Interesting what they've done here is they've swapped things across, split up, left the low HP player on the B bomb site, and unfortunately Jame is now going to meet the attack, meet the enemy. I think ultimately just going to look to hide, isn't he, at the back of the site and hope that they don't find him. Perfectly timed peek. Takes out Hoodie, and in comes his teammate on the distraction. Jame actually gets a 4k overall, two of them on 10 HP. So a pretty decisive kind of pistol coming in from him. Certainly close down to the wire, the 2v2. Havu starting off strong, though, starting off well. They're not able to fully convert it and fully make it work. They'll certainly be a bit annoyed with themselves after that. Not going to go for the eco straight away either. So what we generally see more often than not is, eco into the full rifle buy as soon as possible when you lose the pistol and no bomb down, right? There's obviously the caveats behind it. And you know what? This force buy might be somewhat effective. We got 5 MP9s coming into play from Avangar, perhaps expecting full armor and wanting to make some cash. But everyone's going to have armor. There's actually going to be 2 Deagles in play as well. The Tech 9 is not terrible at range. And the P250 does have a chance. Fully automatic UMP is more likely than not going to hope to close the gap. So we'll see here. Very slow sort of start. Havu sending the feelers out, getting a bit of information here, there, and everywhere, but ultimately not really spotting anyone out. Now starting to creep in towards Banana. I believe Buster might just have, spotted a bit of leg on the corner. Calls for some rotations. Calls for 2 rotations, actually. Not sure is going to be the right choice because, the fake coming in from Zori, getting the smokes over the top, maybe even going to commit himself to said fake. But the bomb itself is going A. Adren watching long, has to give up long because, well, there's just too many men, and they're in on the site with the MP9s. Not a single frag to come in just yet. They've not quite checked Jame at the back of the site, but it's a messy few frags coming in for both sides. Back into a 3-on-3, but the greed there from Doto to try and find the weapon. The bomb plant has been stopped by Hoodie, and the kills come in. It did look messy, but Sanji was in the right place at the right time. They gave him a bit too much room to work with and not really enough time for themselves either. And so Avangar are able to pull it back just about. Just about. Certainly close. Certainly, need to check themselves. Certainly need to make sure they don't knife each other in the back. But second round on the board. Confidence feeling good. looking good as well, right? Should be a fairly easy one coming into this. I say that. Saw actually manages to get the drop on Kicker, but pretty much to no avail, right? Easy cleanups. Slowy on the Deeg. The MP9 is too fast, too slippery. So a very quick throwaway round, as you would sort of expect. I think Havu maybe had some nades or whatever. Some like actual, you know, HE nades. But not going to make them work. Avangar clean 3-0 on the board. Relatively decisive, I would say. You know, surviving with the bare minimum of 3 in most of these rounds. Their money looking good. Heavy kind of bonus coming in. But, I mean, I can kind of agree. I can kind of see where it's coming from. On a map like Inferno. 2 of the MP9s over at A. Playing those kind of either shoulder peak angles where you can dip in and out. Or playing the close range angles. That's nasty from Saw, though. Speaking of angles, he knows them even through smokes. We'll find the first. Havu start off with a pretty good advantage. No real chance there from Avangar to fight back. They're trying to lob a smoke down to mid. He's the only one left on this 8 bomb site, you know. He's got an M4. Oh, going to go for the rotation. I think he actually got that M4 dropped across by somebody, and ultimately with him going down, Avangar going to have to concede the round. Going to go for the save with these 3 SMGs. And this is sort of where, you know, that bonus spy can come back to haunt you, because you feel that the SMGs have to travel in packs, right? You have to have a buddy around to help you out. And the only real way to do that towards the end of this round, you know, after losing the advantage, when it's a situation, what can you really do, right? You get fragged through the smoke. Don't gain any information. You don't have a chance at fighting back. You're just like, well, I don't know. He's just shot me through a smoke, boys. What do you want? I can tell you he's T-stairs, but you probably already knew that. So yeah, and because of that, completely untraded and like the cleanest frag that Havu could get, right? Not taking any damage, not losing a player, not giving away too much information in terms of what's going on. Happened really early on in the round. They're able to just work off of that perfectly and get themselves a clean rifle round, really. But Avangar, because of the bonus buy, because of the decision to go for 3 MP9s in the previous round, they still have money to buy into this one. Sanji sticking on his MP9. Jane will get the AWP out. This is obviously what it's all about for Avangar. Let's see whether they can make it work. Getting very aggressive with that peek. Not going to spot anyone just yet. Got to be very careful. I believe it's Zori who's creeping around. Probably a smoke down, though, towards the tail end. They're going to leave Jame on the corner, and they're going to rotate 4 players in total on this 8 bomb site now, so it's where all the action is going to be. A molly will come through, but the smoke is down for Adren to stick around. Off angle from Buster, he's only able to get 1. Adren's also fallen. Still, however, Kicker in a pit, quickly traded as Saw spins around to find another. Very spicy stuff, very nice indeed. And you know, despite the 4 players being on A, they overall go 4 for 2 in favor of Havu. And again, you kind of have to beg the question, keeping these MP9s, is it really necessary? Is it perhaps a bit overconfident? Feel like it might be, especially you know, Kicker, you can kind of see he went for a pretty good spot, pretty good space where it's like a headshot angle. Unfortunately, they were a bit too close, but still goes 1 for 1 in his exchange. Sanji, though, had the money to get himself a rifle, and it also sort of changes your playstyle. You see in that round, he just rushes through a smoke with an MP9, hoping for the best, and well, the best is an immediate death. So yeah, feel there is a question of, you know, the confidence perhaps needs checking somewhat. Either way, we shall see. Can Havu keep it up? Looking good once the rifles have come into play. Vanguard, meanwhile, forced onto an interesting buy, right? A double up setup, but not really held up by very much. So Buster and James going to have to do most of the work here. Flash comes in, long hauls, clearing it out. Nice and slow and methodical. On the edge of the smoke is Buster, though. Are they going to be ready for this? The boost up coming in. Oh, and a great flick from Buster. Taking out Slowy. He's close enough that it kind of eliminates the fact of that being somewhat of a headshot angle. He shows way too much of his upper body. And a nice opening frag for Avangar. He's able to drop back, take a slightly better position. Smoke going to go down to keep them at bay. And this time, the reversal has happened, right? That first rifle round, Havu get a cheeky opener through the smoke. And almost exactly the same happening for Avangar within this round. Could make all the difference. They're going to gamble rotate a little as well. Adren, despite the presence on the A-bomb site, is going to back off towards B. And who knows, it could be the correct decision, it could be the incorrect decision. I don't even think Havu themselves know where they want to go. It's definitely not into the clutches of James, though. 5-on-2. And I feel like the round pretty much over. 20 seconds left. These two final players probably going to look to save. They can drop across their teammates. You know, they've got plenty of cash. So saving these rifles would actually make a difference for the buy into the next round. Ultimately, looking good, though. Avangar still able to hold on to the lead and look to extend it somewhat, perhaps. I think this double up setup is going to be a serious problem if Havu cannot deal with it, if they cannot, you know, figure things out, answer back quickly. They do, like I said, have the money to buy, spreading the wealth. Tiny bit of nade damage coming in there. I mean, it does quite a bit if you're jumping up to window at that time, but not going to be the case. A total of 4 nade damage done. Not really worth the $300. Ooh, that's a nice little spray, though. Unfortunate. They completely read Adren, however. He gets flashed, you know, and he's moving back. But Buster, like I said, this double up setup, so very difficult. At the moment, though, both the AWPs are on the A-bomb site. That could definitely make a difference. Sanji is holding things down and going to play a bit more of a passive angle. They're not bursting forward. They don't quite recognize that they're playing exactly the same sort of setup. You know, Buster moves to A there and they don't clock on. They don't go, well, he was B last round, so maybe they're not wanting to gamble. And it all comes down to that smoke, right? The one choke point that you can come through without long control that obviously the CTs know you don't have. That one smoke is like, do we really want to run through that? Could be a player playing close, could be a sick crossfire. Let us try something else. And Havu, I think the nerves definitely showing through that you're up against such a titan at the moment. Both these teams undefeated at the moment, though, so it will be interesting to see which team ends up taking things this round. It's going to be Avangar. Oh, sorry, might get to survive yet, though, which I suppose is nice on 3 HP as well. But all the same, the 5th round for the CT side. It looks really good from them. They have bounced back. You know, there was a couple rounds where it was a bit shaky, a little close for comfort. But they do well here to bring things back in their favor and hoping to, you know, keep things rolling going into the latter stages of this first half. Hero AK, Zori, wide swing onto James, who is not ready for it at all. That is a nice opening frag coming in for Havu. Got a couple more players with armor. Maybe they could have retrieved that AWP and make a difference off the back of it. Only time will tell. Oh, I like it. Goes the wrong way. That's a bit unfortunate. It is somewhat of a gamble. At least, you know, they catch the way that it goes. Zori shows a bit too much of his back, however, as he checks that other side. Hoodie will happily pick the AK up, however, but he is traded relatively quickly. Saw's got his hands onto the AWP. The AK transitions to another pair of hands. The hand-me-downs coming in here for the Finns, and well, looking good indeed as they overwhelm the A bomb site. Doto with a quick 2K at the end, and a third round for Havu. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. It will bring them within, once again, touching distance of the 5 rounds of the small lead that Avangar have got. They're clinging on to said small lead. All the same, the Finnish sides definitely shooting back, definitely fighting back. As I said at the top of the map here, it is a comfortable map for them. They also play an awful lot of Counter-Strike the same way that Avangar do. A lot of online tournaments and a few LANs dotted in there. They have potential. You do have to give them that respect, but I think ultimately, you know, Avangar are just like, yeah, whatever, man. No, Dren with the 3K. Oh, just making it look easy. There's nothing flashy about it. So simple for him. They're just not able to deal with him. Molotov not really meeting its mark either there. And the Dren going to play around this smoke as he does so often from this pit position. Gets himself the ace. 6th round on the board, very dominantly, as a Dren in pit is deadly. He was only on 1 frag before that as well, so a pretty nice pickup. Ultimately looking good, looking fresh. They get tested, it comes close. Maybe, just maybe, you know, if they continue the way that they are. The Finnish boys come back into it, and then Avangar go, actually, nah, sorry. We're winning. All right, just to remind you, we are winning. And now the frags come in through the smoke from Avangar themselves. It's another hero AK kind of round. I mean, I like to see it when your economy is somewhat all over the place. Instead of fully investing, going aggressive with the buy. Play it safe, play it smart. It also worked before, so... You know, bit of a success rate to this. Shame, though, that contact style loves to go for it, creeping round. Aggressive as always. We'll find another frag. And Hoodie there is a bit like, did I see him? I'm not sure. Let's have another look. And, well, that time Sanji's ready for it. 2v5. Very slow 2v5, though. 35 seconds left on the clock. They still do have the bomb in hand here on the T side of things, but Kicker not going to get checked. They're still expecting Sanji to be close. Saw not near enough to find the trade. And will get taken down. 7th round for Avangar. It's starting to get a bit more dominant. You know, I think they definitely recognize maybe not a team that they have played against very much. Definitely not a team that they have prepped for very much. And they very quickly have gone, okay, all right, we have actually lost a few rounds to their fragging capabilities. Let's show them some respect because they do have the power here. They have just proven that. We give them the room, they will be successful. So let's bring, at the very least, a B+ game, right? Maybe not the best of the best of the best that Avangar have got to offer, but something close to the fact. More utility usage, more successful utility usage from Avangar, able to find an easy frag. Such an important part of the CT side of Inferno, and something that Avangar, you know, have shown in great prowess with. We've seen a Dren on the A side of things, usually going for a lot of nades that he knows over the top. This time on B, and well, A's not really worked for him. B, as soon as he goes there, it works immediately. So, there is that. Smoking a flash, try and give some control on balcony. Chip damage being done with the nades once again, though, by the Havu, by the Avangar side, rather, onto Havu. Sanji will go in with a late smoke towards short, making life difficult again. Still not drawn all the utility out of Avangar here, despite how kind of close some of these exchanges have been. James holding the angle. Sorry, going to cross and go for a smoke, pit smoke. Slightly unorthodox. It's actually a sight smoke. I'm a little bit confused. This doesn't really give them too much. I suppose it allows them to clear pit, but then, you know, James just plays around it. Sanji going to find a quick one from on high. Doto gets the spin around 2K, though. Going to go for the bomb plant. Going to get the bomb plant in the smoke, but quickly dealt with, and the round's over off the back of it. So, yeah, I suppose Havu can kind of be happy in the sense that they managed to keep the money rolling and whatnot, but Avangar now, this lead really growing. We were at 5-3. Havu had a bit of a chance, a bit of a shoe-in, but not able to fully pull the potential of that play. And now it's a 5-round lead, right? It's also 3 rounds in a row here from Avangar, so I want to say sort of the longest showing of rounds. But all the same, it's just looking really good. It's just looking really dominant in a lot of these rounds as well. Almost no contest, no sweating coming in from Avangar. It's relatively simple. They're able to just clean things up, keep things rolling, keep things looking good. And the consistency of the domination starting to come in is the thing, right? Where earlier on in the game, Avangar, yeah, sure, looking like the stronger side, but Havu definitely contesting, not only in the sense of the round score, but also the rounds themselves. Could get a bit interesting here. Doto has managed to drop kicker. Found himself an AK, goes for the wraparound, and there it is, that fragging prowess that Havu do have available. A snappy headshot from Doto brings it into a 3-on-3. A deep CT smoke as well. Actually stops Sanji from pushing, and well, it stops him pushing straight into Doto. However, Doto is taking matters into his own hands. Gets another, and with them being so far out, so far pushed back, it'll be a 3-on-2 that they want nothing to do with. So Havu, again, the loose, aggressive buy where they just sort of, you know, pull out a bit of armor. Maybe a rifle in there. I don't think so in this round. They, Doto retrieved the rifle. But when they play these looser, faster, burst-based rounds, it actually looks really, really good overall from them. And I think if they can keep that rolling, if they can keep that going, then, well, you know, they could close the gap. 8-7 still on the cards. Definitely not out of the woods yet for Avangar in terms of a, you know, dominating first half. So still that respect got to be shown, and they do have to bounce back pretty quickly here, I feel. Otherwise, they might find themselves a bit tested. It's kind of dead even as well in terms of the way that they win rounds, so it would be nice for them to get off to a good start. Ultimately, it's not like they have a super, super strong T-side. Again, in terms of the raw statistics, right? Can't quite believe them. I would feel just because the AWPing, the double AWP setup, CT side tends to be slightly more successful. It feels like. Oh, no. What is it with kills through smokes this game? Some of them easy, right? You pre-aim an angle, get a sneaky headshot. That one is very, very timing based. Adren, sort of his fault. That player is spraying and spraying and spraying and spraying, and yet Adren just kind of walks into the spray. Great flash coming in here, though, from Kicker. He's going to pull things back in favor, heavily back in favor. Will go down as he's stuck out in no man's land there, but he manages to do some more damage on towards Zori, and they've already rotated 2 across. As the quick burst towards the B-bomb site comes in, it's just not going to go well. Rushing through the smoke is James, finds the frag on the backside of Zori, but Buster and Kicker working so well in tandem in that round to just, yeah, clean things up. Pretty nice from Sanji also to find the frag onto Doto, making it a quick trade, eliminating most of the A pressure that Havu had. But Avangar, again, they lose a round, they immediately bounce back. It's not quite as one-sided as our previous game. Definitely not as one-sided as I felt it could be, right? But it is still Avangar. Oh, and James particularly looking crisp, looking good. James actually 14-3, by the way. He's not even died in all the rounds that they've lost. Still managed to save a fair amount. But yeah, it's you know, kind of a case of, I think, a lot of the time I always talk about when teams are playing in that back and forth kind of nature, you say they're sort of one step ahead. In this game, it feels a bit more like they're sort of 2 or 3 steps ahead. Still close, still sometimes slipping, but they take that one step back and then they take 2 steps forward. You know, they recover very well from the lost rounds and don't let it turn into a massive mistake, just a small mistake. The meat grinder is just so quick. Again, it's not flashy. It's not incredible from Avangar. It's just Havu, one flash, not really doing anything. The player that is possibly going to get blinded or may have been blind from that in pit, he hides away, relies on his teammate in on the site to do some damage. Then he's able to peek out and find them either damaged or, you know, just helping his teammate get more kills. And it's just, again, super clean. Havu not really doing anything to break that apart. Trying to go for a burst, hoping someone lands a quick one-tap, which is just a very difficult win condition. It sometimes works, as Slowy does get on 1 HP. Then they're going to come in. Will it finish him off? It will indeed. But yeah, Slowy will get a quick one. And again, it's been the hero AK. This round it's the hero Krieg. Will change hands. It is handed down through generation after generation. Now it's Saw who takes up the mantle, and he's going to have to, really. Doto distracting here on the A site to, at the very least, you know, keep them around, but they're not sold. They're not fully dedicated. Jane going to go contacting around. Spots them, not able to find the frag. Doto in the smoke. It will eventually dissipate. Sanji, yeah, just playing it nice and patient. Takes the wide face, lands the spray down. Now they're somewhat sold on this B play, I would have thought. Buster is stuck around, in and around the smokes. Finds all 3. Pretty nice play coming in from him. A 4K, actually 14-4 himself. Great B anchor across the half. And an 11-4 half. Still dominating. Not quite as dominating as the previous game. This one I felt like, you know, it would be the case. And now Avangar on the T side, this is where the momentum really gets rolling. I think Havu got a bit of a shoe-in some of the rounds because they were finding Avangar with slightly less money than they would have liked, you know, and there are some gaps in the defense. Also being a bit cheeky once rifles and whatnot start to come into play, they opted, actually, we're just going to keep the MP9s and just, you know, buy up some rifles. Yeah, but we're just going to keep the MP9s because we like MP9s. And it is a bit, you can see the logic. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, you can still buy up. But they kind of kept on doing it, a couple of the players, when they didn't necessarily have to. And like I say, not extending the respect to their opponents, will they end up somewhat paying the price in those early rounds. But very quickly adapted, very quickly bounced back, and not going to have the worst effect, I think, in the long run. A lot of utility brought up here from Avangar. Certainly 3 smokes and 2 Molotovs. Definitely something a bit different. Maybe looking to try something a bit different. At the moment, though, just waiting for the aggression. Not really coming. Havu have instead opted to go for the passive kind of setup with, you know, 3 players on the B-bomb side. That is their risk. Player holding on the corner, 2 in on the site. However, Avangar rub their hands in delight because this is exactly what they wanted. Molly goes towards New Box, forces them into dark. Molly goes to New Box. So much damage done. They've not even got into the site yet. A flash over the top. 2 very quick frags. 3 very quick frags. And well, it's just systemic destruction off the back of the execute. Through the smoke, Hoodie will find one. So again, another frag through a smoke, by the way. But still a 3v2 in favor of Avangar, and this is where it becomes a bit more difficult for Havu because they don't have a kit available. They need to find these frags quickly, and they also need to find, you know, someone needs 2. Or maybe one of them needs 3. It's going to be one of them needs 3. Hoodie, he's already got 1, looking for the 4K overall. He's got all the information available to him, but they're just so split. The angles, looking between them, not able to find it. The pistol goes the way of Avangar. The 12th round goes the way of Avangar. And the game seems to be going the way of Avangar. More a question of when rather than if at this point. Either way, force buy coming in from Havu. They're looking to, keep them away from 15 for as long as possible, but James going to catch Slowy off guard, wide swinging with a nade. Buster's got to be careful. He's left pretty low. That's also an AK he doesn't want to be giving away. He's got a teammate around in the form of Kicker, but, still, respects. Don't be getting too overconfident, even with this super, super heavy lead. Slowy on that AWP could do some real damage. Zori as well. They both kind of pick it up. Zori, maybe even in this round, finds a crisp one. Oh, the flash is not perfect, though. I'm not sure whether that was from a teammate or an enemy, but all the same, it throws him off. And it's enough to allow the escape for now. But Havu around like this, you can play it risky. They will very quickly move across to this B. Bomb site on the edge of the smoke is Doto, but not quite as hidden as he first thought. So much damage has been done here. The Eagle spam coming through. Oh my goodness, and left on 12 HP is Sanji. And again, damage being done, definitely possible. A retrieved UMP from Hoodie. My God, and look how low these HP bars are. Obviously, with it being on the Esea servers, they don't have the information available that we do. And I have to wait until after the round for that, or maybe they'll discover if they keep pushing forwards how low these players actually are. All going to be on to Kicker. Can't get it done. The 10-second timer not quite popped. Good couple seconds in favor of Havu, and there it is. The Deagles get the work done, particularly. 5th round for Havu picked up, and well, I'll be counting their lucky stars. They've been given another chance back in. Another chance to close the gap. How do Avangar answer back now? The difficulty is, where maybe this would have come later on in the half. They've built up a bit of money. They look good. They feel confident. They could easily have done what they did in that first half, where they just return things. They lose a round. They immediately pick the next one back up. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case here, though. Just going to go for the deco. P250 for Buster. A flashbang for Kicker. Well, nade coming in. Dren going to feel the burn of that one. Takes a hell of a lot of damage. Sanji going to push forwards, but Hoodie has got the escape covered. So it should be all good. I think that first frag coming in, ultimately gives them the confidence, gives them the control and everything that they were looking for. Okay, Kicker, though. Crispy. Gets one at long range. 1-4 retrieved. Going to give his deagle across to Buster, I believe, who, is that P250 player. The issue is no one's really got any armor. Jame will get himself an M4 for his trouble. Looking to burst on towards B, and what they've done quite well here is, slowed things down. However, as they get a bit more information on the CT side of things, one rotation will come through CT, the rest of them down from Banana. This one player, however, needs to go huge. Kicker on the Deagle. He's going huge. Into a 2v2, and I think very quickly they're going to discover where they're coming from. An argument to be made for James to just play the Deag, but going to go for the M4. Kicker in behind. The bomb, easily doable for him. However, now that CT is smoked, he's only really got one option. Gonna try and rush through this smoke, I guess. They do have a kit available. Timing going to be everything. James catches off Hoodie. So many angles in on this B bomb site. They both peak around the same time. Not a great deal of time, but James will find the crisp headshot. He only needed to land that headshot as well. 88 HP. And 13-5 comes in. Avangar win a deco. They win a round where they spend no more than $3,000 across the board, I don't think. I mean, I'm going to stick with it. I think maybe a little bit more. Definitely no more than 4. All the same, they didn't invest a great deal, and they're able to get it on the board. Looking really, really good. 13-5. Getting that reversal round once again. I said it was going to be tough, certainly tougher than it was on the CT side to do just that when they had all the money on the CT side. Just there, they didn't, right? But the individual skill is enough to carry them through. And just kind of that mid-round call to slow things down after finding the first frag in Banana, rather than bursting off of it. And that left Havu guessing. They were very unsure of themselves. Nice little 2-man stack on the corner. Will result in a 1v1 for both players. nonetheless. In on the corners, in on the headshot angle, particularly for Hoodie here. Oh, misses the first shot, though, and they're able to creep around. No armor. Very thin hay cart. Zori, I mean, yeah, you got to feel for him. The scout up close, not going to happen. Everybody else trying to pick up the pieces, but James is holding down the flanks. Should be a 14th for Avangar. Relatively quickly, relatively easily on the board. Unfortunately, Havu not able, once again, to pull it through with the pistols. It does seem, I think, the vast majority of their rounds in this game have been on these weaker, looser kind of buys. So ultimately, I think that looser style, right, is slightly easier to play around, slightly easier to work with. And unfortunately, just not going to be the case in the end. Not able to keep on doing it. Avangar definitely adapting well to those pistol rounds. I mean, like, look, we lost a pistol round last time. Let's make sure to get it this time. Let's take it slow. Let's move together. Let's get some good utility going rather than taking early fights in banana or whatever it may be, losing, giving a rifle away, or at the very least dropping a rifle that we can't retrieve. Full eco coming in from Havu then. Looks like the 15th round, the map point just on the horizon. Victory within touching distance for Avangar. They've gone for the old group up in water, and yeah, there it is. A wide swing, a greedy swing from Buster results in his death. However, they know where everybody is at now. They've got control of A. They're going to flank some players across to try and cut things off, make sure that the AK as well does not fall into enemy hands. James will peek round, get one. And Zori is spotted and heard and eventually eliminated. The one factor that they have here, though, on the CT side is the fact that Slowy is somewhat in behind, but he's just not expecting them. He thinks that they're all going towards B. Not the case. Goes for a rush out to mid, gets taken down. However, that's to be expected from Havu. They did not invest a single thing, and they still come out with at least one kill with their gotcha kind of play there, the stack at water. 10 rounds in a row. It's tough. It is definitely tough. They're going to have to pull it out of the bag one way or another. A bit of a boost, I think, coming in there over on the B side of things is Avangar have gotten very quick into this round, knowing that ultimately it's going to be a weak buy, you know, short a full buy, but the lack of utility, the lack of counter utility in your mind as well as a CT in a situation like this, you probably don't want to be too liberal with your utility. You're trying to hold on to it. And only use it if absolutely necessary. So Avangar rushing in there to try and bait out some utility. I think they probably would have gone for it if they'd have found some frags, but not the case. So going to opt to come back towards A, hoping to catch these players off guard instead. Not quite going to happen, though. Great little setup coming in there. Slowly actually finding two with the FAMAS. Brings it back into a 2-on-2, just because, again, the trades coming in from Avangar relatively cleanly. This MAC-10 not going to be ideal. This AWP not going to be ideal. The lack of utility for Havu not going to be ideal. The fact that Doto is left on all his lonesome not going to be ideal. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse for Havu, unfortunately. The MAC-10 is workable, but no utility. The AWP in the 1v2 certainly not going to be. Doto getting tagged down, trying to go for the wallbang, desperately hoping that one of these shots lands. They are inches away. The time ticking away as well, and I think that's going to be all she wrote because they are just not peeking him. They will eventually peek out, and Keykurt will find him, but the game had gone because there was no time to get the defuse in. And there you are. Avangar able to take it 16-5 overall. Pretty dominating stuff, as to be expected from the major runners-up. You know, remaining undefeated. 4 games played, 4 wins in the bag. Havu still in a close second, you know, still looking good, though, to be honest, in the general playing field. But I think that one kind of goes how you would expect. Certainly early on, Havu was shooting back, as they say in UK CS quite often, and definitely pulling it up and showing Avangar that they had what was needed, you know, to pick up a few rounds. But then Avangar were like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, you got us. but we're immediately just going to adapt and come back and, pick up the. And I mean, it happened literally every time. Even when they only had the Deagles, they are given these small opportunities on the Avangar side and they're able to just run away with them. And I think definitely Havu showing some nerves and letting the pressure definitely get to them somewhat across the course of that game. So potential there, and Havu showing they do have the chance. It's not quite as messy or as dominant as the first game for X Epsilon that just really didn't have any structure or any kind of game plan on Overpass. Meanwhile, Havu seemed to have it there. It just wasn't good enough. It wasn't strong enough to battle against Avangar. But of course, that is going to be it for this evening. We've only got a couple games. We will be back again, same time tomorrow, around the same time. Anyway, it might be a little bit later. And it will be my lovely face joined by Darth Mike over from NA. Once again, good to have him on the show. Do be sure to tune into that. It'll be, like I say, around this kind of time. Let's say 5 o'clock. Be ready and raring to go. Keep an eye on HLTV for all that good information. But we'll see you tomorrow.